Hello there everybody and welcome back to episode 4 of my tutorial series for Dyson Sphere program. Today we will work our way through oil and red science, so this is going to be a pretty exciting part for this series. I have already prepared the glass production that we require because the oil industry is relying on glass. You need plasma exciders that are made out of prisms, and prisms are made out of glass. So that's one point. Plasma exciders are a necessary good for oil extractors and oil refineries, and once we have glass available, we might also consider building ourselves a couple of fluid tanks and the like. So, a couple of things and tasks up ahead of us, and I'll be guiding you through them in this series gladly. So, first of all, I want to bring up a couple of assemblers here that will provide the prisms that we require. Prisms are, well, just enhanced glass, and you don't need to do more than that. The ratios between these buildings currently are not too interesting for us, because we're still just providing expansionary goods. So we're totally okay with two factories producing prisms for us. So let's check back with the plasma exciders. Plasma exciders require magnetic coils. What are they called? Yeah, magnetic coils and prisms. So we do have magnetic coils on this side, we have prisms on that side, so let's just combine these wonderful little thingies here together, and we got all we need for our production cycles. So we need to rip out that wind generator here. As you see here, a wrong recipe got copied. Don't want that. So here goes. So of course these are too far apart from each other, but I do see how cool that is. So we reverse the passing of these, and we just combine it that way. Boom, just like that. So we will now need to pick up here these magnets. There we go. And the prisms. There we go too. And we'll be just extracting these onto that belt here. And now all we need to do is expand that a little bit. Hold down left shift, left click, and we can just put that down here one more time. We need to power it up, of course, a tad bit. Go. And now we got the plasma exciter production running. Of course, it's a small scale thing, but at the same time, we don't need to worry too much about that. So, oil refineries, stone, plasma exciters, and steel. So we got stone, we got plasma exciters, we got steel. What's the last ingredient again? Ah, circuit boards. So we will be now taking the plasma exciters over to a ride downtown. So as you see here, we're going to use this area here. And the more I do this, the more I realize that this corner here will be a logistical little bumpkin. So we're just going to keep that up. All right, so next step, we need to put up the assemblers. Put them down here. And here again, I do realize that we can use the existing shapes. At the end of the day, it's up to you if you want to put down a blueprint starting factory, or you just do the improvised way like I do it here. Every method has its ups and downs, that's for sure. I'm personally a very, very impro happy person, so I do things like that quite a lot. But there will be blueprintable things later down the road in this series, don't you worry. I am working on these standards too. But for the starting area, well, it just works like that quite decently. Now, we can now bring up the oil extractor and the oil refinery. These two buildings have pretty much the same ingredients, so we can just put them down right next to each other and just connect the things that they need into the factory. There it goes. And this will provide to us all the necessary means for our expansion into the oil business, which is a damn important next step in our evolution, as oil is opening up so many technologies to us that, yeah, I really, it's a lot. It's really, really a lot. So with these materials that will be produced here, let's see, we only need one oil extractor. Basically need way more refineries than you need extractors, but that's another day's topic. So we got all that down, and as you see here, our starting factory footprint is getting bigger and bigger. But that's okay. It's pretty small thing still, so we don't need to worry about that too much. We'll be now picking up the glass belt real quick and pipe it on downtown here. So there's a couple of projects that we need glass for, and I would have actually built these already here into that corner, but we're lacking foundation. So let's get into one really, really important technology next. Reclamation. Reclamation unlocks the material foundation. This basically just allows you to replace water with solid soil to build upon. We totally need that as we continue down the road more and more, so we are going to be researching that next. Here on this border, for example, there's water, so we couldn't have been building there. Either way, that's okay. Logistical challenges are totally part of the game and very, very important to me. So there is another little nifty thing that I want to build here in between. While we're waiting on these things, there is a technology that requires engine units, so I just want to produce these while I'm busy with other things. So here we want to quickly get our hands down on the glass and the not the glass, the fluid tanks. That's what I meant to say, because fluid tanks are absolutely mandatory for your oil business. Fluid tanks are, well, necessary since we're not going to use the entirety of the oil right now. So that is just a necessary evil of sorts. Okay, so we put it down like that. We put down a piece of belt there, so we need to expand on our lines here. I think I'm just going to go straight ahead even further. I don't know yet. Maybe we'll take a curve later. We'll see about that. You can totally adapt that to your own liking. So what I want to mass produce next are storage tanks. And since I'm lacking glass, obviously, we are going to import that from the outside. Just like that. So we're going to set up another little storage unit there. I hope the distance isn't too we'll see about that. So can we pick up from here? Excellent. So we take things from here and there, and we require iron plate as well. So here we pick up and process the glass. Wonderful. We do require matrix labs, though, too, because we need to set up ourselves a splitter here. Pressing tab to change it into a more comfy model. Pressing up key arrow to split it off another time, so we can whip it in wherever we need it. There are, of course, tons of different solutions to the issues at hand here, so if you see a different solution that you like more for the starting expansionary area, please use it this way. I cannot stress out how important I find it with this game that you find your own ways and solutions to problems. That's what it's all about, you know. I also do understand people that just like to... oh dear. Whoopsie, that was not what I meant to. I do understand people that love to download ready-made blueprints that just do their thing for them. I'm very sorry if you are looking more for these things. This tutorial series is not providing that well on that end. I know that well, but... well, you can't do everything at once. Now, we got reclamation tech down. That allows us to produce foundation. But the next thing that I want is the drive engine. This is driving me nuts, pun intended, because I can't fly yet. So you see we're still trying to do puny jumps, and while we're doing that, we're not as fast on the planet as we could be. So let's get back to the dirty old coal mine. Here we might be also picking up some combustibles there. There we go. I hold down left control while I left click, by to get that effect down. We're now going to produce ourselves these engines in our pocket. So since I'm lacking a lot of copper, I'm flying by there to pick up the copper. And for the rest of the engines, we can make 40 of them now, which is almost as much as we need. So we do pick up a couple of these. These starting technologies are a little bit annoying as they require so many handcrafts, so many little things, but we can do that while we're doing other things. Okay, so I really want to be able to fly. Usually you can double tap space and you can just start flying. So the last thing that we need to produce is really, really important. That's why I give it all the way, is the matrix lab. We need these on mass production next, as these will be really, really demanded quite a lot. So we put the inserter over here again, in there as well. There goes the electronic circuit. There goes the iron plate. There goes the magnetic coil. I think that's all of the ingredients, isn't it? So expanding is now getting easier and easier, as you might have noticed. Ooh, that's a really horrible Tesla tower. So we're going to put it down like that. As we get now more and more materials, just get the job done for us. Very important here again, limit the amounts of slots, the amount of slots here. And we are now ready to get the ball rolling. I just wanted to do a couple of things so we have lots and lots of refineries available. And now, let's check. We got our lab, our processing labs over here. So it might be a really awesome idea to get the first coal, oil production running here. Oh no, I want to fly. This is really bothering me, but really happy once we're past that. Okay, now oil and red cube production. So crude oil seeps, they have a output per second, as you see. So 2.8 units of oil are extractable out of that thing. So we can put oil refineries only on top of them. They are found in the mining area here as well. And we are out of belts. Great. There's always something. So very soon we're able to fly. That'll speed us up tremendously. But until then, I need to get back to the belt terminal. So there will be really cool opportunities for us to not be worrying too much about these things anymore in the future, but we still gotta be getting there. Logistics will become much, much easier the longer you play this game. And Dyson Sphere program is all about getting logistics on a very, very interplanetary, intergalactic level at some point, so this is just the beginnings. If you don't like how logistics works so far, just rest assured when I say it is getting a lot easier. Now then, next step, we require those oil refineries. Every oil refinery is capable of processing 0.5 oil per second each. So we would need to get the full throughput out of that 6 of these refineries. I am only putting down 4 of them because as we stay extracting oil here, the total amount of output per second will lower until it flats out at some point. And also, 4 refineries are way easier to compute in all terms of calculations. That's why I went with that. You can do it differently. I just want to explain my train of thought. So, oil refineries are here, capable of doing plasma refining. Raw oil goes in, refined oil and hydrogen goes out. The refined oil right now is an entirely useless product for us for the time being, and we are only interested in the hydrogen, as hydrogen is necessary for us to produce electric energy matrices. Am I already able to produce? Yeah. We also will need some energetic graphite, but that is really the easiest part about that equation. So finally, the drive engine is ready. We can finally take off. So there's a couple of other things that I still need to unlock here, but we'll be getting there one thing at a time. As you see here, inventory capacity. All these are really annoying texts that I totally recommend you to do between your expanding your starter base, as this is something you just want to get done anyways. We're unlocking now several different materials, technologies that we can still finish with just blue cubes alone, as I want to keep my science game busy for a while. All these technologies, I will explain and explore them along the series, of course. We're just putting in things into the queue, so we're not wasting any time. Now, since this is a output that yields two different products, we also need two different bills. So the oil refinery output looks like that. We of course need to put it down on the opposite side as well, as this will work the same way. Now, we will now need to put down the inserters or sorters. So you input the oil like that, and then you go on to the opposite side, and now we press tab to tell the game to extract hydrogen on this belt, twice tab to extract the oil. You see the filter, the blinky thing. I'm swapping through them right now. I think it doesn't need that much extra explanation. So left shift, left click, we copy that. We need to put up the configuration on the opposite side again. We cannot copy just the other side. That won't work. Don't try it, because the or it will. I don't know if it does work by now, but usually it doesn't. In the past it didn't. So I'm quite fond of this method as it works a charm. So we can now power up these buddies, and we can now just copy paste that blueprint a second time onto that one and give it all power, and that's that. So we have now an output of hydrogen and oil. So the oil we're going to store for now, and the hydrogen we're going to extract and use for our science production. So there goes that. And we combine them like that. I hope that's not too narrow. And now we put down glass tanks. So we researched solas. Yeah. Okay, we gotta go down a bit. So these tanks can be stacked on top of each other, as you see. And they will store the oil for us. Don't you worry, we will process that oil. I strongly recommend you to store that stuff and don't burn it in thermal, what are they called? Thermal generators, or what they are? There. Thermal power plants. Technically, you could burn your oil there as well, but practically we will be requiring the oil for many other industries later. Now, to get red science cubes, we of course need energetic graphite as well, but that's luckily a really easy task, as we just need to plug in a mining machine on a coal patch. Want that dude there in the corner? Yeah, whatever. We need foundation anyway to get the most out of that. So we're going to get ourselves the energetic graphite down here. That's a very simple process. You just put it into arc smelters, and we're going to make 2 of these for starters. In this process, we convert 2 coal into 1 energetic graphite in 2 seconds. That means one of these smelters is producing half a unit of energetic graphite each second. That means we are currently producing 1 unit of energetic graphite with that. That is totally enough to get started with, and we can totally work with that. So let's put it down like that, left shift, copy that, and connect it up with power. All right, so that turns out now these fun little rods. Okay, next step, we need to process that all somewhere. We're gonna be processing the science cubes here in that corner here. I like it there. And we're going to set up 3 of these science labs. So we got now the hydrogen on one pipe and the energetic graphite on another one. So we need to go just one step there, and we just put it down like that. And these guys will be... Yeah, well, we're going to put it down like this. So you see the belts are getting a little bit jittery and wobbly. That's because we are really close to the equator. The equator is a little bit of an ungrateful area to build, but it is not impossible there. I just wouldn't recommend to build large-scale things on there, as it can be quite really annoying to deal with that. As you already can see here, we're not going to be able to set up more smelters, so we're going to rip that out later, but for demonstration's sake for now, it's totally sufficient. What I want to showcase here is that these refineries cannot work if one of their outputs is clogged. That is why we have these tanks. In the moment that there cannot be any further refined oil be flowing out of these refineries, the flow of hydrogen subsides as well. That is why it's so important. Now, off to this little task. Energy matrices. We take 2 energetic graphite and 2 pieces of hydrogen. We take it, we cook it 6 seconds, and we get 1 energy matrix out. That means we can get ourselves a sixth of a cube out of each of those guys here. If we now put 3 labs on top of each other, we get 3/6 of a cube, also known as a half. So we can cut this thing in a half. So we get 1 energetic graphite per second needed and 1 hydrogen per second needed. That is what this boils down to. I hope I make this somewhat understandable. If you have trouble understanding this whole ratio thing, let me know, and I'll try to do my best to explain it better. Now, we can now take in these things, and I want to showcase now another thing why I like this ratio here so much. This recipe here is, you need to look at the topmost one. We create in 4 seconds 1 piece of hydrogen. That means each refinery produces 1/4 of hydrogen per second. That is why 4 refineries are exactly producing enough hydrogen for 3 of these labs. 2 of these guys produce exactly enough energetic graphite for 3 of these labs. So that's why I string it up like that. It's a pretty cool ratio, but works really decent for the early game, but we're gonna be getting past that quite quickly. So we just need to amp that up now. And the cool thing at this point now is to increase your red science production, all you need to do is just to... Wait a sec. Yeah. All you need to do is just to make sure that you expand on oil, and for every 4 oil refineries you build, you need 2 extra arc smelters providing energetic graphite. And that's that. Not anything else needed. So we're now capable of just expanding into a red science business. The very first thing that I want to research with that new tech, we're going to exit that, is X-ray cracking. X-ray cracking, I'll be explaining that in the upcoming episodes, but to give you a preview, it's just getting you 50% more out of your hydrogen than before. It is, in my opinion, even the best first technology to pick up. It's a tad bit costly. It does cost us 400 red cubes, so we will have to work a little bit for that to get done. But at the end of the day, you will be increasing the output of each and every one of your oil refineries by a lot, and that is why I totally recommend doing that. Also, another thing that you will now get to feel is the fact that power production is getting a thing again. So we need to expand our wind turbines, especially those that can now be built on bodies of water that you don't want to expand towards to, are the best bet to get to, as these areas will not be any loss for you. So double tapped space to fly, and you just need to hold down Alt to land again. This is just making things so freaking much easier. Alright, so we need to expand now our power grid and our oil extraction. Due to the fact that we're only building this small blueprint on top of these guys, you will be easily able to find usage for all these oil seeps. If you have a big one like these with 3 point something, you can save them for later or just tap them to your own liking, or by all means just expand your oil refinery. I just like to have only 4 of these outputters, refiners, due to the fact that this makes the whole thing very easily calculatable. As you saw there, the ratio is very solid if you just use 4 refiners, and the output stays stable. We don't need to worry about any of these guys running out or running dry, as we will be not stressing out the income of these oil wells too hard. So that is just what I've been thinking while doing this. So you can now, as you see here, utilize the water areas really nicely for your power production. In case you missed it in the previous episode, you needed the steel technology to be able to build wind turbines just into the water, which is a real big step forward. So speaking about steps forward, the next big steps forward will now be to just expand the oil production. Ideally, we want to reach a production output of something like 2 red science cubes per second. That means we would need a total of 4 of these outposts to make that dream come true. But with that setup that we are currently running, it ain't that hard. I just want to set up a secondary outpost for you as the very last thing for this episode, and then we can roll into the outro. So there's one thing that I want to introduce to you, which will be very helpful for us in the future. First off, we do have a recurring pattern here, so this is something that is worth being blueprinted. So if you wanted to do that, you can copy pasta that one and plot it down on the rest of the planet. I just don't like to do that too much, but feel free to. So there we go. Mostly I don't go blueprinting because I feel like setting up these facilities manually is so quick that I rarely feel like blueprinting is worth it, as planetary curvature can sometimes really drive me nuts with blueprints not being placeable because the planet has the wrong curvature at some points for that blueprint to work out. But I'll leave it up to you. I just wanted to talk a little bit about why you are not seeing any blueprints from me in these series or something like that. You might have wondered. Okay, so we are going to left shift click there. And again, for the opposite side, take another one. No, what's happening here? Ah, yeah, here. So we have a collision with another object. Okay. I don't know why that went badoodles here. Pretty sure that was a user mistake, but whatever. Ah, yeah. No, it's because I have added the inserters too early. That's why. There we go. So, we just need to power that thing up. And the basic idea that I got here right now is that I personally have made a really good experience with making sort of a hydrogen highway now. The thing here is, we will pick up all the hydrogen that we are utilizing here, and we will be refining it soon. So that means getting the hydrogen up to a common place is going to be very, very helpful for you. So I just want to demonstrate to you what I'm talking about. So we're going to take that hydrogen now and... Ah, dang it. No, 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 no. In case you have ever a misfit like that, you can just sever it and hold down left shift to delete the whole string there. So we're transporting the hydrogen over here. And now I'm just connecting that hydrogen to the rest of the highway. The thing is, each and every one of your conveyor belts can carry 6 pieces of cargo per second. That means we will be needing like 6 of these oil extractor outposts to overstress this road in terms of hydrogen throughput. The practical use about that is later, when you do the X-ray cracking thing, all you need to do is set up your X-ray cracking at the end of this hydrogen highway, and you will be able to get the job done much easier. But I'll be explaining that once we set it up, don't you worry. It's just one of those things that's really good if you prepare yourself for it before it becomes important. You also see that we have our first thing cutting through the area here, so later we might be needing to bump that up a bit, but for now it'll just jolly work. So we'll be getting our oil, or refined oil, down here, just connect it like that, and then we'll just give it the necessary tanks that it requires. Pipe it in. Oh. Realize that the tank's gone wobbly. And just connect them like that. So, that is what we're going to do now for a while. Until we have unlocked the next technology. So we're right now producing more of the hydrogen than we're processing, which is totally a good thing. So the only thing that we need to do now is to restructure this part. I'll be doing that between the episodes, and we're going to continue next one with more exciting things. So thanks for watching, you all. Well, I'll be doing the changes while I'm outroing. So I really am very, very grateful for you folks being around here. It's amazing to have so much positive feedback and everything. I really am grateful that you're watching this. So if you have any questions or something, feel free to ask away. Comment section is there for you, and of course consider giving this series a thumbs up. It would be wildly appreciated, as it helps a lot for the algorithm, and consider subscribing if you want to support the channel. That's a really cool way of doing it without having to spend anything except for a click. I also want to say that there is a description box down there, leading to many cool links. Among these, my Discord server or the playlist for this tutorial series. So I'd be really happy if you'd give those a look. And last but not least, check out Patreon, PayPal, or Buy Me a Coffee. I'd be really happy to have you guys supporting this channel. And a big thanks to all of you who already do. You really make a lot of things possible, and I deeply appreciate. That all being said, thanks for watching this series. This is the most important and amazing thing you can do for me, and I hope you had a good time. And next one, we will be exploring more of the cool things that we can do with this game. Hope you have a good time until then. See you there, and bye-bye.